What if I told you that everything you think you know about medieval battles is a lie? No slow-motion sword fights, no heroic last stands, no clean armor shining in the sun. Tonight we are not watching a movie. We are stepping into the mud. This is what actually happened in a medieval battle. And I promise you, you have never heard it this way before. Here's a question for you. Have you ever wondered what it actually feels like to stand in a shield wall? Not what it looks like on screen. What it feels like. The smell, the fear, the man behind you breathing so loud you cannot hear your own thoughts. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will never watch a battle scene the same way again. If you want more stories that tell you what it actually felt like to be there, hit subscribe. And if this makes you see history differently, like the video, now close your eyes for just a second. Or don't. Your choice. But if you want to really understand, you need to feel it. You wake up before sunrise, and you already regret everything. You wake up before sunrise, and you already regret everything. Not the dramatic regret of a hero who made a noble sacrifice. No, this is the small, sad regret of a man who slept on cold mud and woke up with a rock pressed into his ribs like a reminder from the earth itself that you do not belong here. You try to move, and your body answers with a series of pops and cracks that sound like someone stepping on dry twigs. Your chain mail has somehow become heavier overnight. It presses down on your shoulders like a disappointed parent. Your back aches in a place you did not know you had a place. And your neck feels like it was used as a doorstop during the night. You're not even 30 years old, but this morning you feel ancient. You feel like the mud has already claimed half your bones, and the other half are just waiting for permission to give up. Around you, other men are waking up the same way, not with shouts or battle cries, with groans, with the slow, miserable sounds of people who would rather be anywhere else. One man sits up and immediately lies back down. One man stares at his boots for a full 30 seconds like they have personally betrayed him. Another man just closes his eyes again and pretends he did not hear the horn. But you heard it. Everyone heard it. That horn does not ask. It commands. It is the sound of a new day, and a new day in a medieval army means one thing. You are closer to the battle than you were yesterday, and that thought sits in your stomach like a cold stone you cannot swallow. You try to remember why you are here. Honor maybe, or coin, or because someone with a sword told you to come along, and you were too young and too scared to say no. You try to feel brave. You cannot. Bravery does not live in the dark before dawn. Bravery lives in stories told by people who are not there. What lives here in the mud with you is something else. A low, steady thrum of fear that has become so familiar it almost feels like a friend. An uncomfortable friend. A friend who smells bad and talks too much about death. But a friend nonetheless. Your hand shakes slightly as you reach for your water flask. It is mostly empty. What remains tastes like leather and regret. You drink anyway because your throat is dry and your mouth tastes like you have been chewing on old coins. You have not brushed your teeth in weeks. You have not seen your reflection in longer. You're not sure you want to. The man next to you tries to stand and fails. He sits back down hard and curses something about his knee. His knee is fine. His soul is the problem. You understand completely. There's something intimate about this moment. Not the kind of intimacy you read about in poems. The other kind. The kind that comes from sleeping next to the same 40 men night after night. You know who snores. You know who talks in his sleep. You know who cries quietly when he thinks no one is listening. You have memorized the rhythm of their breathing the way a sailor memorizes the sea. And they know you too. They know your fears even if you never say them out loud. They know because they share them. Every man in this muddy field is carrying the same secret weight. The knowledge that today or tomorrow or the day after they might die, and no one will remember their name. That is the part no one tells you about. Not the glory, not the honor, the smallness of it. You are one body among thousands. Replaceable, forgettable, a piece of meat wrapped in chain, mail, holding a spear that someone else will pick up after you fall. You try not to think about that. You fail. The thought sits there in the dark with you like a second shadow. The sky is still black when you hear the first order. Form up. The words drift through the camp like smoke. Men begin to move not because they are ready, but because standing still feels worse. You pull yourself up one aching joint at a time. Your boots sink into the mud. You leave a small piece of yourself behind with every step. And somewhere in the distance before the sun even thinks about rising, before the birds bother to wake up, before the world remembers you exist, you hear it. The enemy, not their voices, not their war cries, just the low, distant rumble of another camp coming to life. Another 1,000 men who also did not sleep well. Another 1,000 men who also regret everything. And you realize something as you take your place in the line. You are not marching toward a battle. You are marching toward a stranger, a man you have never met who has never hurt you. And in a few hours, one of you will be dead. Not because of hatred, not because of justice, just because someone told you to stand here and someone told him to stand there. That is the real secret of medieval warfare. Not the clash of swords, not the roar of cavalry. Just two lines of tired, hungry, frightened men walking toward each other because they ran out of better ideas. The horn sounds again, louder this time. You take a breath. The mud sucks at your boots, and the story has only just begun. Because waking up is the easy part. What comes next is where the nightmare truly starts. The horn sounds again, louder this time, and now you are standing in a line that stretches to your left and right like a broken fence made of tired men. The sun is not up yet, but the sky has turned that strange shade of gray that comes before morning. The kind of gray that makes everything look sick. The kind of gray that feels like a hell breath. You look at the man next to you. He is young, too young. His beard is mostly guesses. His hands shake around his spear like he has never held anything heavier than a loaf of bread. He catches you looking and tries to smile. It does not work. His face is the color of old cheese. You want to say something comforting. You open your mouth. Nothing comes out. Because what do you say to a boy who is about to die? Nothing. There is nothing to say. So you stand there in the gray light and you wait. And waiting is its own kind of torture. Worse than marching. Worse than hunger. Because waiting gives your brain time to work. And your brain is not your friend right now. Your brain is showing you images you did not ask for. A spear going through your stomach. A horse stepping on your face. The moment when you feel the arrow, but do not hear it, because sound cannot keep up with death, you try to think about something else. Home. A woman you once kissed. The taste of fresh bread. But the images come back anyway. They always come back. The men around you are doing the same thing. You can see it in their eyes. That faraway look. That small distance between their faces and their souls. One man is whispering something over and over. A prayer maybe. Or a name. You cannot tell. Another man is touching his sword hilt like it is a lucky charm. Touching it, then letting go, then touching it again. A nervous habit he probably did not have yesterday. The air is cold, but you are sweating. Your armpits are wet. Your palms are slick on the spear shaft. You wipe them on your tunic and immediately feel foolish because now your tunic is wet too and there's nowhere else to wipe. Then you hear footsteps. Not the heavy, clumsy footsteps of soldiers. The confident, deliberate footsteps of someone who has never had to dig a latrine. You look up, and there he is, the commander. He walks to the front of the line like he's walking onto a stage. His armor shines, even in the gray light. Someone polished it recently. Someone who is not him. He is clean. He smells like lavender or rose water or something that does not belong anywhere near a battlefield. You hate him instantly. Not because he is cruel. You do not know him well enough to know if he is cruel. You hate him because he is clean and you are not. Because he slept in a tent and you slept in mud. Because when he dies, he will die with his name in a book somewhere, and when you die, you will just be another body for the flies. He clears his throat. The sound carries across the line like a stone skipping over water. Men stop whispering. Men stop praying. Men stop touching their sword hilts. Everyone looks at him, and he begins to speak. Then he says, "Today we fight for glory." Glory. The word hangs in the air like a bad smell. You look at the boy next to you. He looks back. Neither of you says anything, but you both understand. Glory is not a thing you can hold. Glory is not a thing that will keep you warm tonight or feed your family or stitch up the wound in your leg. Glory is a story rich people tell poor people so they will stand in the mud and die for free. But you do not say that. You keep your mouth shut because the commander is still talking. For our king, he says. For our lands. For our honor. He pauses, waiting for a cheer. No one cheers. Someone coughs. Someone else shifts their weight from one foot to the other. The commander pretends not to notice. He presses on. Look to your brothers, he says. Look to your steel. The enemy fears us. You glance at the boy next to you. His steel is bent. His helmet is on backward. The enemy probably does not fear him. The enemy probably fears nothing except maybe hunger and bad weather. But the commander does not know that. The commander does not know anything about the men standing in front of him. He does not know that you are tired. He does not know that half of you have not eaten a real meal in days. He does not know that one man in the third row is crying and trying to hide it. He sees uniforms. He sees weapons. He does not see people. That is the only way he can give this speech. If he saw people, he would not be able to say the next part. If you die today, he says, Ahaudi asharus. There it is. The part of the speech no one wants to hear. The part where he talks about dying. Not in a sad way. In a cheerful way. Like dying is an honor. Like dying is a promotion. You feel something twist in your stomach. Not the hunger. Something else. Something darker. The boy next to you makes a small sound. A whimper maybe. You pretend not to hear. Then comes the part about God. God is on our side, the commander says. He points to the sky like he can see heaven through the gray clouds. God blesses our swords. God guides our spears. You want to believe him. You really do. But you remember the priest from your village. The one who told you that God loves everyone, even the enemy. So if God loves everyone, then whose side is he really on? You keep that question to yourself. Asking out loud feels like bad luck. The commander raises his sword. The blade catches what little light there is. For a moment, he looks heroic, like a statue, like something from a song. And then he shouts, "Forward!" No one moves. The line stands frozen. The commander stares. He shouts again, "Forward!" A few men shuffle their feet. One man takes a hesitant step. Another follows. Slowly, reluctantly, the line begins to move. Not like soldiers, like prisoners, like men walking towards something they have been dreading their whole lives. The boy next to you looks at you one last time. His eyes are wet. His lips are moving, but no sound comes out. You reach out and touch his shoulder. Just for a second. Just to let him know that someone sees him. Someone knows he is scared. He nods. Then you both turn your heads toward the enemy line. Toward the strangers waiting in the distance. Toward the thing that is about to eat you alive. The commander is already walking back to his tent. His speech is over. His job is done. Yours has not even started yet. And as you take your first real step toward the enemy, you realize the truth. That speech was not for you. It was for him. So he could sleep tonight. So he could tell himself that he inspired you. That he gave you courage. But he did not give you anything. You had the courage already. You just did not know you were going to need it today. The ground is soft. Your boots sink in. The boy stays close to your side. And somewhere behind you, a drummer begins a slow, steady beat. Boom, boom, boom. Like a heartbeat. Like a countdown. Like the last few seconds before everything changes forever. The drummer sets the pace. Boom, boom, boom. Slow, deliberate. Each beat lands in your chest like a second heart. You try to walk in rhythm, but your legs do not want to cooperate. They're stiff in the cold, heavy from the mud, heavy from the fear that has settled into your joints like rust. The boy stays close to your side. Too close. His spear bumps against your elbow every few steps. You want to push him away. You want to pull him closer. You do neither. You just keep walking. One foot, then the other, then again, like a man learning to walk for the first time. The line stretches out on either side of you. It is not straight. It is not clean. It is a jagged, uneven mess of men who do not quite know where to stand. The man on your left keeps drifting forward. The man on your right keeps drifting back. Your sergeant screams something about dressing the line, but no one knows what that means. Dressing the line sounds like something you do to a salad, not something you do before a battle. So the line stays crooked, and you stay somewhere in the middle of it. Not quite the front, not quite the back. Just there, present, available, ready to be killed like everyone else. The enemy line is still too far away to see clearly. Just a smudge on the horizon, a dark stain on the gray morning. But you can hear them, not their words. Just the low rumble of 1,000 men moving, 1,000 men breathing, 1,000 men who also did not sleep well, who also regret everything, who are also walking toward you with the same heavy feet and the same hollow eyes. You try to hate them. You cannot. They look like you. They smell like you. They are probably thinking the same things you were thinking. I should have stayed home. I should have become a baker. I should have run away when I had the chance. The ground changes as you walk. It gets wetter, softer, more treacherous. Your boots sink deeper with every step. You hear the sound of mud sucking at leather. A wet, hungry sound. The kind of sound that promises to hold you when you fall. That promises to keep you. That promises to make you part of the earth whether you want to be or not. A man up ahead loses his footing. He goes down hard. His shield clatters against a rock. His spear flies out his hand. He lies there for a moment, just staring at the sky. No one helps him up. No one stops. He is on his own now, just like everyone else. The boy stumbles. You catch him by the back of his tunic. He looks at you with wide eyes. His face is pale. His lips are gray. He tries to say thank you, but only a small squeak comes out. You nod. You let go of his tunic. You keep walking. You do not know his name. You have slept next to him for 3 nights, and you do not know his name. That feels wrong somehow, like you should know the name of the person who might die next to you. But you do not, and now it is too late to ask. The sergeant screams again. Hold the line. Hold the line. His voice is hoarse. He has been screaming for hours. He will probably scream until his voice gives out. Then he will scream with whatever is left. You try to hold the line, but the line does not want to be held. It wants to drift. It wants to wander. It wants to dissolve into the mud like morning fog. Men are looking around nervously, checking their neighbors, checking their weapons, checking the sky for arrows that have not arrived yet. Every few seconds, someone flinches at nothing. A bird, a shadow, their own imagination. The commander is nowhere to be seen. He gave his speech. He raised his sword. Now he is probably back near the tents drinking wine and waiting to see who wins. You hate him more than you hated him before. But the hate does not help. Nothing helps except walking. So you walk. The enemy line is closer now. You can see individual shapes. Helmets, spears, shields painted with colors you do not recognize. They are walking too. Same pace. Same rhythm. Same heavy feet. 2 lines of tired men walking toward each other because someone told them to. It would be funny if it were not happening to you. 2 armies. Thousands of men. And not a single one of them wants to be here. Not one. That is the secret no historian puts in the books. Everyone is scared. Everyone wants to go home. Everyone is looking for a way out that does not involve dying. But there is no way out. Not anymore. You are past that point. The point where you could pretend to be sick. The point where you could slip away into the trees. The point where you could just lie down and close your eyes and hope no one notices. You are in the line now. And the line is moving forward. And the line will keep moving forward until it hits the other line. And then the screaming will start. The boy whispers something. You lean closer to hear. He says, I am sorry. You do not know what he is sorry for. Maybe for bumping your elbow with his spear. Maybe for being scared. Maybe for being young. Maybe for all of it. You want to tell him that he has nothing to be sorry for. That none of this is his fault. That he should have stayed in his village and married the girl with the brown hair and lived a small, quiet life and died in a bed, not a field. But you do not say any of that. You just say me too. The drummer speeds up. Boom, boom, boom. Faster now. The walking turns into a shuffle. The shuffle turns into something closer to a jog. Men grip their weapons tighter. Men clench their jaws. Men breathe in short, sharp bursts. The enemy line is very close now. You can see their faces. You can see their fear. You can see that they are just as crooked as you are. Just as scared. Just as sorry. Someone yells. Someone else yells back. The words do not matter. Only the sound matters. The sound of the end beginning. The boy moves even closer. His shoulder presses against yours. You let him stay. You do not push him away. In a few seconds, none of this will matter anyway. The line tightens. The mud sucks at your boots. The enemy keeps coming. And you keep walking. Because there is nothing else to do. Because the line is all you have now. Because the boy is still whispering, I'm sorry, over and over like a prayer that no God is listening to. And then the space between the lines disappears. And then there is no more walking. And then there's only the thing you've been dreading since you woke up in the mud. The thing that has no name except the one you give it in the dark when no one else can hear. The space between the lines disappears like a held breath finally released. One moment there is distance. One moment there is time to think. And then there is nothing. No space. No time. No thoughts left. Just the wall of men in front of you and the wall of men behind you and the terrible knowledge that you cannot go back. The boy presses so close to your side that you feel his heartbeat through his armor. It is fast. Too fast. Like a bird trapped in a cage made of ribs. You want to tell him to slow down. To breathe. To close his eyes and pretend this is not happening. But your own heart is answering his beat for beat, and you have no breath to spare for words. Then the sky makes a sound. Not thunder. Not wind. Something else. Something that starts as a whisper and grows into a roar. You look up before your brain tells you to look up. And you see them. Not clouds. Not birds. Arrows. Hundreds of them. Thousands of them. A flock of death rising from the enemy line and arcing toward the sky like a question that only has one answer. Shields up, someone screams. The voice is not yours, but your arms obey anyway. You lift your shield. You pull it close to your body. You make yourself as small as you can behind a few pounds of wood and leather that suddenly feel like the most important thing in the world. The boy does not lift his shield fast enough. You grab his arm and yank it upward. His shield clangs against yours. He looks at you with eyes that do not see. His mouth is open. His lips are moving. No sound comes out. Then the arrows arrive. The sound is wrong. Movies taught you to expect a gentle thunk, a polite noise, something you could ignore. The real sound is nothing like that. It is a crack, a punch, a wet, heavy slap. Arrows hit shields like fists, like hammers, like the fists of a god who is very angry and not particularly accurate. An arrow slams into your shield, and the impact travels up your arm, into your shoulder, into your spine. You feel in your teeth. Another arrow hits the ground near your feet and sticks there quivering like a living thing that wants to crawl up your leg. Another arrow hits the man 3 places to your left. Not his shield, his shoulder. He makes a sound you have never heard a man make before. A sound that does not belong in the throat of a human being. A sound that will live in your nightmares for the rest of your life. He falls. He does not fall gracefully like an actor in a play. He folds. He crumples. He becomes a pile of limbs and armor and blood that does not look like a person anymore. No one stops to help him. No one can stop. The line is still moving. The arrows are still falling. The drummer is still beating his drum like nothing has changed. Because nothing has changed. The battle does not care about the man on the ground. The battle does not care about his shoulder or his screams or his mother who does not know yet that her son is dying in a field far from home. The battle only cares about moving forward. You try to shrink behind your shield. You try to become small. You try to become nothing. An arrow glances off the top of your helmet. The impact rings through your skull like a bell. Your vision blurs for a second. You taste blood, but you do not know where it came from. Your tongue, your lip, your gums. It does not matter. You swallow it and keep moving. The boy stumbles again. His shield dips. An arrow whizzes past his ear, so close that you see the feather brush his cheek. He does not notice. He does not notice anything anymore. His eyes are empty. His face is blank. He is walking, but he is not there. Something has left him. Something important. Something he will need in a few minutes when the arrows stop and the real horror begins. Another volley comes. You hear the release before you see the arrows. A collective grunt from the enemy line followed by the whisper of 1,000 bowstrings returning to rest. Then the sky darkens again. You crouch lower. You press your face against the inside of your shield. You can smell the wood, the leather, the sweat of whoever carried this shield before you. A dead man probably. Someone who also crouched behind this wood and listened to arrows fall and hoped to live. He did not live, but the shield did, and now it is yours. And you wonder how many more men will hold it before it finally breaks. The arrows hit again. Harder this time. Closer. The man directly in front of you takes an arrow in the thigh. He goes down without a sound. Just collapses. Like a puppet whose strings were cut. He lies on the ground, looking up at the sky. His leg is bent wrong. His eyes are open. He is not screaming. He is not doing anything. He is just there, waiting. You step over him because there is nowhere else to step. The line behind you is pressing forward. The men behind you do not care about the man on the ground. They only care about not being the next one to fall. The boy is crying now, silent tears running down his cheeks. He does not wipe them away. He does not seem to know they are there. His lips are still moving, but no sound comes out. His hands shake so badly that his spear looks like it is dancing. You want to take the spear from him. You want to tell him to go back, to run, to live. But you cannot, because if you let go of your own spear, you will have nothing. And if you tell him to run, the sergeant will hear you, and the sergeant will cut you down before the enemy ever gets the chance. So you keep your mouth shut. You keep your eyes forward. You keep walking. The arrows stop, just like that. One moment the sky is full of death. The next moment it is empty, quiet. The sudden silence is worse than the noise, worse than the screaming, worse than the impact, because the silence means something has ended, and something else is about to begin. The enemy line is very close now. You can see their faces, their fear, their sweat, their open mouths and wide eyes. They're just as tired as you are, just as scared, just as sorry, but they keep coming anyway, because there is no other direction, because the line only moves forward, because behind them is the same thing that is behind you. A sergeant, a commander, a promise of death if you run. You tighten your grip on your spear. The wood is slick with sweat. Your palms are wet. Your fingers are numb. The boy stops crying. His tears dry on his cheeks. His face hardens into something you do not recognize. He is gone now. The boy you walk beside is gone. In his place is something else, something that has accepted what is coming, something that is ready, something that has stopped hoping to live and has started hoping to make the other man die first. The two lines are almost touching now. You can smell the enemy, their breath, their fear, their sweat. They smell like you. They smell like every man you have ever known. They smell like home and hunger and the end of the world. Someone screams. You do not know if it is your side or theirs. It does not matter. The scream is the signal. The scream is the moment. The scream is the door closing behind you and the lock turning and the key disappearing into the mud. You raise your spear. The boy raises his. The man on your left raises his. The man on your right raises his. And then there is no more line, no more space, no more time. There's only the collision, only the impact, only the terrible, beautiful, awful moment when two armies become one screaming, bleeding, dying thing. And you are inside it now, and there is no way out, and the arrows were just the beginning. The collision happens faster than thought. 1 second you are looking at the enemy from a distance. The next second his face is inches from yours. His breath is hot on your cheek. His eyes are wide and wild, and he is screaming something you cannot understand. You do not have time to be scared. You do not have time to think. Your body moves before your brain gives permission. Your spear thrusts forward, not aiming, just pushing, just trying to keep the space between you and him from disappearing completely. The tip hits something. Metal, wood, flesh. You do not know which. You do not have time to check. He swings at you with his own spear, and you duck and your back screams in protest, and you are still alive somehow. Forget everything the songs told you about battle. Forget the elegant sword fights, the clever parries, the heroic duels between noble knights who know each other's names. This is nothing like that. This is a crowd, a riot, a brawl in a tavern that is spread to the whole town, and everyone is drunk on fear, and no one knows the rules. Men shove past you. Men fall at your feet. Men grab at your armor, your arms, your throat with fingers that do not feel like fingers anymore. They feel like claws, like hooks, like the hands of drowning men trying to pull you down with them. The boy is gone. You do not know when he left or where he went or whether he is still standing. You cannot look for him. You cannot look anywhere except straight ahead, because straight ahead is where the enemy is, and the enemy does not stop coming. You swing your spear like a club now. The thrusting is useless. There is no room to thrust. The men are packed too tightly together like cattle in a pen, like animals being led to a place they do not want to go. You swing and you hit something. A shield, a helmet, a shoulder. You do not see where. You just feel the impact travel up your arms and into your chest, and you swing again because stopping means dying. The sound of the worst part. Worse than the smell. Worse than the fear. Worse than the pain you have not noticed yet, because your body has not given you permission to notice it. The sounds are a symphony of horror. Metal on metal. Metal on wood. Metal on bone. Men screaming in rage. Men screaming in pain. Men screaming in a language that sounds like begging, but you do not want to understand the words. Someone is crying. Not the boy. Someone else. A grown man with a gray beard and armor that has seen other battles. He is crying like a child. Like his mother just died. Maybe she did. Maybe he is thinking about her. Maybe he is thinking about the last time he saw her and how he did not say goodbye properly, and now he will never get the chance. You step on something soft. You do not look down. You keep your eyes forward. You keep swinging. Your arms are burning. Your shoulders are screaming. Your lungs are filling with something that is not air. Dust. Blood. The breath of 100 men who have not bathed in weeks. You try to cough, but there is no room for coughing. There's only room for swinging. For surviving. For staying upright for one more second, and then one more second after that. A man to your right goes down. An axe in his neck. He does not scream. There is no time for screaming. He just drops. Like a stone. Like a sack of grain. Like a man who is alive one moment and is not alive the next, and the transition was so fast that his body does not even know what happened yet. You step over him too. You are stepping over a lot of bodies now. Some of them are enemies. Some of them are your own men. You cannot tell the difference anymore. They all look the same when they are on the ground. They all have the same empty eyes and the same open mouths and the same questions that will never be answered. Someone slams into you from the side. You almost fall. Your feet slip in the mud, in the blood, in the mixture of things you're trying very hard not to identify. You catch yourself on someone's shoulder. You do not know whose. You push back. You shove. You swing your spear again, and this time you feel it bite into something that gives way. Soft. Too soft. Your stomach lurches. You pull the spear back. The tip is red. You do not look at it. You cannot look at it. If you look at it, you will think about what you just did, and if you think about what you just did, you will stop, and if you stop, you will die. So you keep swinging. You keep shoving. You keep stepping over bodies and ignoring the wet sounds beneath your boots and pretending that the man whose face you cannot remember is not a man at all, but a shape. A target. A thing that needs to go down so you can stay up. That is what battle does to you. It turns men into things. It turns enemies into obstacles. It turns your own heart into a fist that only knows how to close, not how to open. The boy appears again. Suddenly. Without warning. He is in front of you. His face is covered in something dark. Blood. Not his. He is still standing. He is still holding his spear. His eyes are different now. The emptiness is gone. In its place is something harder. Something older. Something that has seen too much too fast and will never be young again. He looks at you and nods. A small nod. A nod that says, I am still here. I am still fighting. I have not given up yet. You nod back. You do not smile. There is no smiling here. But something passes between you. Something that is not quite hope, but is close enough for now. The enemy line is breaking. You can feel it. The pressure is less. The screaming is changing. Some of the screams are farther away now. Some of them are moving backward. You push forward. The men around you push forward. The boy pushes forward. The mud sucks at your boots, but you do not care anymore. You are past caring. You are past feeling. You are a thing that moves and swings and steps and somehow does not fall. The enemy is retreating. Not all of them. Some of them are still fighting, still swinging, still screaming. But the line is moving away from you. The space between you and the nearest enemy is growing. You take a step, then another, and suddenly there's no one in front of you. Just empty ground, just bodies, just the terrible quiet that follows the storm. You stop. Your arms drop to your sides. Your spear hangs from a grip that does not remember how to let go. The boy stops next to you. He is breathing hard. So are you. So is everyone who is still standing. You look around. The field is covered. Covered in bodies. Covered in weapons. Covered in things you will never be able to describe to anyone who is not here. The enemy is far away now. A dark line on the horizon. They are regrouping. They are counting their dead. They are doing the same thing you are doing, trying to understand how they are still alive. The boy turns to you. His mouth opens. He says something. You cannot hear him. Your ears are ringing. The sounds of the battle are still bouncing around inside your skull like stones in a metal bucket. He says it again. This time you catch the words. He says we did it. You want to correct him. You want to say that no one did anything, that the battle did itself, that you were just a piece of wood carried along by a flood. But you do not have the energy for words. You just nod. The boy nods back. And somewhere behind you the drummer starts beating again. Slow. Boom. 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 The battle is not over. It has only paused to catch its breath. And when it starts again, you will be right here. Still standing. Still swinging. Still hoping that the next collision does not find you. The drummer stops. Or maybe you just cannot hear him anymore. Your ears are still ringing. A high thin sound like a whistle from somewhere far away. The boy is still next to you. He is looking at his hands. His hands are shaking. His spear is gone. You do not know when he dropped it. He does not seem to know either. He is just staring at his empty palms like they belong to someone else. Like someone put them there while he was not looking. You want to say something to him. Anything. But your throat is dry and your tongue feels thick, and the only sound that comes out is a small broken cough that tastes like copper. You look down at yourself. There is blood on your tunic, on your arms, on your hands. Your hands are the worst. They are red up to the wrists. The blood is drying now, turning brown, turning stiff, turning into something that feels like a second skin, a skin you did not ask for, a skin that will peel off slowly over the next few days in flakes and crumbs and small dark reminders of what happened here. You try to remember whose blood it is. You cannot. It could be yours. It could be the enemy's. It could belong to the man you stepped on, or the man you swung at, or the man who fell in front of you and never got up again. The blood does not remember. Neither do you. The field is quiet now. Not silent. Quiet. There is a difference. Silence is empty. Quiet is full. Full of groans. Full of weeping. Full of the small animal sounds that wounded men make when they think no one is listening. You try not to listen. You fail. Every sound finds you. Every whimper. Every cry. Every wet breath that rattles in a chest that will not be breathing for much longer. You want to help them. You want to run to every man who is calling out and pick him up and carry him to safety. But you cannot, because there are too many, because you do not know where to start, because your own legs are barely holding you, and if you try to carry anyone else, you will both fall. The boy falls first, not from a wound, not from an arrow or a sword or any of the things that were supposed to kill him. He just falls. His knees buckle. His body folds. He sits down in the mud and stares at nothing. His eyes are open, but they are not seeing. His mouth is open, but he is not speaking. He is just there, a shell, a body, a boy who walked into a battle and left something important behind. You crouch next to him. Your knees scream. You ignore them. You put your hand on his shoulder. He flinches. He looks at you. For a moment, he does not recognize you. His eyes are blank, empty, like windows in a house that has been abandoned. Then something flickers, a spark, a memory. He says your name, not your real name, the name the men gave you, the name you picked up somewhere on the march. He says it like a question, like he's not sure you are real. You tell him you are real. You tell him you are here. You tell him everything is going to be fine. The lie tastes like the blood in your mouth, but you say it anyway because it is the only thing you have to give him. Around you, the survivors are doing the same things. Checking their wounds, checking their friends, checking the bodies of the enemy for anything worth taking. A man walks past you carrying 3 swords. Another man is pulling a boot off a corpse. The boot comes free with a wet sucking sound. The man holds it up like a trophy. He is smiling, a small broken smile. The smile of a man who did not die today and is trying to remember what happiness feels like. You do not judge him. You understand. When death comes that close and then passes you by, you want to grab something. Anything. A boot. A sword. A handful of coins. Something to prove that you were here. That you survived. That the day meant something other than loss. The enemy dead are everywhere. You try not to look at their faces. You fail. You see a man who cannot be older than the boy. His eyes are still open. His mouth is still open. His hand is still reaching for something that is not there. You wonder who he was, what his name was, whether he had a woman waiting for him somewhere, whether she will ever know what happened to him. Probably not. That is the cruelty of war. Not the dying, the disappearing. The way a man can wake up one morning, eat some bread, drink some warm ale, and then cease to exist, and the world keeps turning like nothing happened. You stand up. Your legs wobble. You steady yourself on the boy's shoulder. He does not seem to notice. He is staring at the ground now, at the mud, at the small brown puddle that is slowly filling with rainwater or blood or both. You look around for your spear. It is gone. You do not remember dropping it. You do not remember anything from the last hour except flashes. A face, a scream, the feeling of something soft giving way beneath your blade. You push the memory away. You will look at it later, when you are alone, when the sun is down, when there is no one around to see you cry. For now you keep it locked in a small dark room at the back of your mind, and you do not open the door. The sergeant appears. He is limping. His helmet is gone. His face is covered in dirt and sweat, and something that might be someone else's tooth. He looks at you. He looks at the boy. He opens his mouth to say something. Then he closes it. He walks past you without a word. There are no orders left to give. No formations to hold. No battles to fight. Just the aftermath. Just the counting. Just the slow, terrible work of figuring out who is still alive and who is not, and who will be dead by morning even though they are standing now. You sit down next to the boy. The mud welcomes you back. It has been waiting. It always waits. You lean your head back and look at the sky. The gray is gone. The sun is out now, pale and weak like it does not want to look at what is beneath it. You close your eyes. The darkness behind your lids is warm. Safe. You could sleep here. You could lie down in the mud and close your eyes and never open them again. The thought is not scary. It is peaceful. The kind of peaceful that comes after something terrible when your body is too tired to be afraid anymore. The boy shifts beside you. His shoulder touches yours. He is warm, alive. You focus on that, on the warmth, on the small proof that something survived. You do not know if you won. You do not know if you lost. You do not know anything except that you are still here, and the sun is still in the sky, and the boy is still breathing. That will have to be enough for now. The rest can wait. The rest will still be here when you open your eyes. The bodies, the blood, the questions you do not want to answer. All of it waiting, all of it patient, all of it ready to remind you that surviving is not the same as living. That walking away from a battle does not mean you left it behind. That somewhere inside you there is a door you have closed but cannot lock. And one night, when you least expect it, that door will swing open and everything you're trying to forget will come rushing back. But not now. Not yet. Now there is only the mud and the boy and the small, fragile miracle of still being here. The battle is over. You are not.